What's up, Steve-O?
What's up, Jeremy?
I'm stoked you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
What a great day.
Yeah.
We're here in your garage. Do you have a name for this place?
The beer that just fell off my sled that I was going to toast you to. No name for the place. Just home.
It's a beautiful home.
Well, thanks.
Dude, it's crazy. I didn't realize until I was driving up here, it's at 9,000 feet.
9,200 feet to be exact.
That's wild. That's like in the mountains.
Yeah, it is. We typically get a ton of snow here. Usually, though, it waits till like right around Christmas time to really unleash around here. What about you?
Yeah, about the same. We're having a slow start, but I really can't count on any snow until about the same, about Christmas time. But I live at 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
So I even crawling up my sled deck this morning, I could feel it. So your red blood cells must be through the roof.
So he came here and we rode today, and we were riding at 11,500 feet out of that field.
Well, when I was winded today, I was holding my breath a lot because you told me, we're going to take it easy. We're going to be going slow through the trees, but I feel like we were moving pretty good. And like for my first real ride for the year, and I was definitely feeling it, but it felt good to...
But medium speed for someone like you normally.
And you.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, yeah. It felt safe. I would... at no avalanche danger today. We stayed out of anything dangerous. And we know it's like low tide, so careful going downhill.
Like super slow.
Yeah.
Like awkwardly slow downhill.
Yeah.
Like just like walking your sled down.
Yeah, we don't want to tear the front end off one of these things and then it's going to nuke next week and I'll have to cry myself to sleep watching.
I feel like we should introduce ourselves. We just went rambling.
That's true. I'm Steve Martin, of course.
I'm Jeremy Mercier.
Yeah.
We're both Sea-Doo ambassadors. We became buds probably like 4 or 5 years ago on a shoot in Yellowstone, and I just knew we'd get along, and here we are. You're in my garage.
That's crazy. Finally.
Yeah, it's awesome, and we're riding low tide snow like we said, but man, low tide snow is better than no snow.
Yeah, and we're making the best of it, but it's really good in the trees, and then that's why like when you come to a new zone and I'm comfortable riding with someone that's from the area. You know where the good snow is. And like a couple times today, you told me, chill out, there are rocks here. So so if you're coming to a new area, find a guide or a friend that's from that area. I think.
For sure. You imagine going to if we drove 2 hours south tomorrow and rode a new zone, both of us would for sure destroy our snowmobiles.
100%.
Like that pre-season, like early season, fall, getting out in the summer, dirt biking, hiking, pays off in huge dividends.
Yes, absolutely.
The area I took him today, though, I had no idea what it was going to be like. I'm kidding, but it could have been rock central. But it's super important to do your homework. Throughout the year, like we all recreate in the mountains, right? Like dirt bike, snowmobile, hike, mountain bike.
Yep.
And we see these zones. Like I'm sure you do the same. Like I'll snap photos of like a meadow or some trees that I know is good when it's low tide, so I can at least go ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm watching the weather every single day, watching open snow, watching the temperature, so I have a good picture of what to expect when I'm up there.
What's your favorite weather app?
Open Snow by far.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, it's amazing. It has a widget on there, so every day I just swipe off the home screen and I can see the forecast just on that little widget.
My favorite part is the favorites, actually. Like I can choose all the areas I love to ride, and then I get notices like, hey, it's gonna snow 20 inches here. And I actually love the Avi stuff on there. You can look up the wind speed. So like, as we know, if you live in the mountains, like sometimes snow doesn't fall equally, and sometimes the wind will be blasting over a certain ridge and dump 20 inches of snow here, but not over there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
the whole wind app on there and the estimated snowfall stuff is really cool.
Yeah, and I like the map overlays. Yeah. And it has like an estimation of where the snow pockets could be, and it's pretty on point.
Who's your least favorite weather place to look?
My least favorite?
Yeah, like is it like the local news, or is it like?
Oh yeah, or the stock Apple map. It's overly optimistic.
It doesn't even work.
I know.
Like it'll show sunny and it's snowing, and it'll show snow and it's sunny.
It really bummed me out when that's all I used. It would show the 3 snowflakes and it wouldn't snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, you let me down.
Well, dude, cheers. Yes, awesome to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Having a beer in the garage. As you know, Steve is old school, badass snowcross racer. I've followed you forever, and it's a privilege to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Here in Colorado riding. Like, it was super fun. You were only chasing me because I knew where I was going today, so it was really fun to like have you behind me, and like we posted a cool video. I completely roosted them like in the trees. yeah, just super cool energy between us. It's just fun to be able to hang out and do something like this,
Yeah,
man.
likewise. You're selling yourself short because you're an amazing rider. I
Well,
mean,
thanks, but
put
yeah.
thousands of miles. You can tell like you're riding every day. I've, ever since I got on social media, I've been following you and watching. I could just tell before I met you that you ride like I do and like to do the same thing. So to be here doing it's amazing.
Ride fast, right?
That's right.
It's all I love riding fast, and that's the hard part about early season. And I think we could probably do a better job about talking about early season riding. Like we're pretty tame a lot of the time. Like we're
Yeah.
creeping around, we're flat-footed until we have the confidence in a zone, and we're not seeing the big humps in the snowpack. Minus the logs, we love hopping the
Yeah,
logs, but like
exactly.
there's definitely an art to riding early season snow. And I think we should talk about that. Like you don't just go out and blast it everywhere.
Yeah, you want your snowmobile to survive, and we're not discouraging you from riding early season,
For sure.
but get out and ride your snowmobile. But use these apps and go look at the terrain in the summer and understand where the snow will be. Like that last zone we went to today, it was lower than we rode, but the snow, like the wind hadn't stripped it out, and it was all hanging in the trees.
Yeah.
And I know when it starts piling up on the logs, that it's also setting up on the ground. And like if there is something hidden, we'll probably bump over it without causing damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we see it all the time. We'll go to a riding area and you'll just see a guy skis off, bulkheads off, and you got to do the homework. We keep our skis like today. We were side hilling across pretty mellow, like 25-degree terrain most of the day, and I never saw you like in a hard side hill. You're doing the same thing I was doing. You're literally like side hill wheeling.
Exactly. Yeah. Keep
And
the skis
I was
light.
neutral most of the day, like minus like a quick turnaround, but like just kind of staying light on your snowmobile. That's how we survive. Like everyone's like, how many arms you go through yet this year? 0, but that could change tomorrow. But yeah, there's definitely an art to it.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What how did you get involved with Ski-Doo? Like what's your background?
Well, I started racing motocross as a really young kid, and then around here, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, like the snowcross scene was really big back then. But you had to be 10 years old to race, and my first race was in Craig, Colorado.
Craig.
Yeah,
Like
crazy.
2 hours from here.
Yeah,
Cool.
at the fairgrounds. And
The
so,
fairgrounds?
Yeah,
Oh,
and it was
wow.
actually really cool. They did a good job putting it on. I raced MXZ 440 fan
Nice.
and probably got smoked, but
What year was this?
probably 96-ish.
96. Okay.
A long time ago. But then I just continued snowcross racing. It was just something to do. And my dad grew up racing snowmobiles, but our true passion was mountain riding. So I'd be mountain riding. But then I started to be pretty successful around here, especially when I was like 15, 16. And then I got a ride with Ski-Doo to race factory snowcross out east. And I did that for a long time, but
How many years did you do that?
probably 7. It was pretty short, but
Oh, it's longer than I thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think back on that, like it was a short career at the professional level, but I at the time I was talking about it with my dad, but I'd been racing motocross since I was a little kid. So at a certain point, I wanted, and this, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I got to a point where I'd won championships, races, and X Games medals, and I felt like I did it all.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I really admire people like right now, Elias Ishwell, Tucker Hibbert, Blair Morgan, that were dominant for so long, because that takes a different kind of motivation to continue to work towards the same goal.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I've never snowcross raced, just for the record, but I have nothing but respect for it. Like, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and even now, like, I think now is even gnarlier than when I did it. The sleds are better, so the track develops to the snowmobile. The suspension is like, you might as well put 2x4s in there. It doesn't move.
Oh, I
unless-
rode one. I rode Jay Mentaberry's actually. There was a snowcross race here in 2000.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Don't quote me, 14-ish, well, just for the record. And I was like, let me take that thing for a rip. That suspension doesn't work unless you're going extremely fast and hitting really hard bumps and big jumps. Like I was like, there's no suspension compared to like a mountain sled. It's so
Yeah.
squishy, right? Like it's so different. But yeah, nothing but respect for that side of the sport. If I was younger, I'd get into it. It's cool.
Yeah, same. And I tried going back and racing plus 30 a few years ago, and it's just
I remember that.
like, dude, the tracks were so much rougher, and I would fly to the races, and my friend Corey would haul the sled out for me. And I called him, I'm like, dude, I can't walk the day after. You have to
That
leave
says
this
it
to the
all.
kids.
You couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say no more.
But through all the racing, I developed a good relationship with the marketing team. And so blossomed into this. And this is what I truly love now. I'm passionate about mountain riding.
I mean,
Snowmobiling in general, actually. I enjoy trail sleds too.
I'm the same. I could go ride trail sleds all day tomorrow and have the time of my life. And I know, especially with you, like we'd have a hoot. Like probably wouldn't keep it under 80 the entire day, and yeah, it'd be awesome. But I think that's part of the sport that is misunderstood a lot. Is you're a snowmobiler for life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're on old iron, you're on a new iron, you're a trail rider, a mountain rider, a chute climber, a tree rider, a bow tie expert. It's snowmobiling, and it's such a cool sport. And I have to say, my favorite parts have just been the people I've met over the years. Like,
Yeah.
holy cow! Like, so many neat people, so many different types of riders. It's just been a privilege to be a part of. Like,
Yeah, for sure. It's a different community. It's
yeah,
like truly passion driven. There's no other sport that can take you where a snowmobile can. We could, like today, we're standing on top of a ridge, and you're like, we're gonna go over there, and we just went there. We didn't have to get a map out or follow a trail.
yeah.
You just go there.
That's definitely my favorite part.
Yeah.
Is like just adventuring. I love personally just like picking new zones and almost not looking. I'll look at like Google Earth the night before and kind of like plot it out in my head, but I don't bring a GPS. I do it kind of like I kind of have a built-in GPS.
Yeah, especially when you're familiar with the area.
And so like I love just being like, okay, I know we can get to this point, and you might be off by a couple hundred feet, and you might be in a better spot because of it.
Yeah.
But that's always been my favorite part of snowmobiling.
I like finding cool drainages on Google Earth.
Yeah.
And then I go look at them in the summer, or that one, most of the time it's a Google image in the summer, and it's fun to go see what it looks like in the winter. See,
Yeah.
can we ride our sled up that?
Yeah, like the drainage I wanted to take you in today towards the end. Like I've hiked that one, and it's super fun. It goes all the way down to the valley floor, but it's all rocks. And when we were in there, like, no.
Is that the one we saw from the logging road that we were like, think we can go up that?
No, that would have been like after that. We actually like went up and over. And we dropped in, and it's where you did like the super steep side hill, and we're like,
Oh yeah,
on
okay.
that drainage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, I think patience is like probably the hardest part in any snow sports. Is like if you're a skier, snowboarder, snowmobiler. Right now, this time of year, we all are like just chomping at the bit because there's like enough snow to have a really good time, but it's a fine line. Like, do you want to get injured? Do you want to like spend $3,000 fixing your snowmobile? And I think as I've gotten older, I've kind of like toned down my early season riding a little bit. And I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel the same way? Kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, I used to be out of control. And
Yeah.
I would just wreck snowmobiles at the beginning of the year.
and it was really expensive, man.
Yeah, and then like you do sometimes damage them so bad they weren't ever exactly the same, or
Or your body wasn't ever the same.
yeah, like that's the thing. You can't fix yourself, or I'd break something and a part would be back ordered, and then I'm down for 4 or 5 days, and all my friends are going riding. So
Yeah.
now my goal this time of year is go have fun, enjoy it, but let's save the snowmobile for when it snows.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat.
And I don't want to get hurt either. I'm not getting any younger, and when I get hurt, it takes longer to heal for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look what happened to our good buddy Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Like hit a rock early season, fib. What's up, Dave?
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
You're healing well.
Yeah, I hope you're healing, buddy. But yeah, that's, I think, a big part of it as I've gotten older is just like, don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Because we have the best months ahead of us. And like, we're still having a ton of fun. Like, the stuff we rode today was not easy. It was challenging.
Exactly,
Lots of log hopping and like just riding a little differently, and
Yeah.
super fun, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we both were smiling and fist bumping at the top of the hill. So it's still a good time.
Oh, it was totally worth the trip. If I didn't get to ride tomorrow, it was worth driving down here.
Well, we're riding tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow is
absolutely.
like, it's on.
So how did you're from Michigan, correct?
I am from Michigan. I grew up trail riding, like with my dad, my brother, sister. The whole family was a family sport. I got really into snowboarding in like probably 9th or 10th grade. And I used the snowmobile to learn how to snowboard in like cornfields ditches, used to build jumps across my driveway. Snowboarding was for sure like that's what I thought I wanted to do in life. And I knew I wanted to be out west. So when I graduated high school, I moved to Colorado and got a job, and that was it. I still love snowmobiling, but I didn't own a snowmobile for quite a few years there. It was all snowboarding, like maybe 4, 5.
Wow.
And then I finally got a snowmobile again because anyone that's skied a resort knows like it gets old. And so bought a sled for access, got back into snowmobiling. And I've told the story before, but I think it was like 2003 and a half. When did the Rev?
2003, yeah.
Whenever that, yeah, I think it was 2003.
2003 and a half, they had the Summit that released, right?
Yep. And I had a buddy that bought one. And I was at Vail Pass, and I had a Mountain Max triple. Dude, coolest sounding snowmobile ever.
Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, he showed up, and he was like standing up, just like kind of like side hilling, but not to the extent we do now. I'm like standing up and ripping power turns. I was like, ooh. I rode it, and like literally it was straight back to snowmobiling for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was done. Snowboard.
Very cool.
I didn't snowboard again.
Really?
Right. I mean, like very little, a couple times a year. Bought a bunch of used sleds until about 2007 or 8. I think it was 2008 I bought my first Ski-Doo XP. That was like my first brand new sled I ever bought.
Cool.
They were always used sleds. They're my dad's sleds before that point. And then it just, I was hooked. I couldn't get enough of it. I was riding like 4,500, 5,000 miles a year in the mountains at that point. Like,
God, so many miles.
for like 8 years straight. I was like, I just want to get good at this. And that's what I did.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, it was super fun, man. And here we are. Like, it's, I know everyone out there that when you first get into snowmobiling, that initial learning curve is really hard, but like you're so motivated to get better because you link that one pow turn, you did that one side hill, and then it progresses like, wow, I did a downhill U-turn and I did a switch back around a tree, and now I did a hop over, and it's like that progression is what drives us, right? Like,
Yes, absolutely.
it's so fun to just, even after doing it for so long, like just to always like learn a little new trick here or there, or be smoother or faster.
Yeah, go somewhere you hadn't been before.
Yeah, like it's just,
that learning curve is a lot shorter now, I've noticed, with the new sleds. I had a friend that his last sled was like a 2003 Edge, like a trailing arm sled, and then he bought a 2018 Summit X, a used one. And so he hadn't rode for 20 years since high school. And I took him out the first day, we went about 20 miles, and he was completely winded. It was another early season ride.
Yeah.
And so we had to stay on this logging road and then into the jungle. And so he was just stuck everywhere.
Yeah.
And we just kept going and going and going. And I'd say after 10 times, he was like pretty good. Like he could follow me and get around pretty good.
I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but it kind of is, because I watched new people to the sport, and after a year or two, they're really good. And in, let's say 2008, for example, to go ride the way we wanted to ride, it took every bit of muscle effort,
Yeah.
technique. Like wrong foot forward, you barely do it on this unless it's really steep. Back then, if it was like maybe 15, 20 degrees, we're wrong foot forward all day.
Yeah, you have
like
to.
full leg out, full
Yeah.
like, and so yeah, it's really changed for new people to the sport. It's definitely, the learning curve's been flattened. There's no question.
And I like that because I can sell one of my buddies an old sled cheap and get him hooked within 4 or 5 times. Like, it's funny you say you came out here to snowboard, got into snowmobiling that way. I randomly sold it was my dad's snowmobile. We sold it, and he got a new one. And this kid showed up, my age and kid, but he's like, I'm just going to use this for backcountry skiing. I said, well, you'll call me in 6 months. And he's like, and now he doesn't ski anymore because he's like, and he had bought a brand new 25 Ski-Doo. He's just full snowmobiler.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids, because they're really young, and my daughter rides a Neo, and my little boy rides an '07 Rev with a 550 fan in it.
Yeah.
And they have the right idea. You know, they're standing on this running board if it's off camber, and they're like, if it's deep, they can get the Neo on one ski. And I said, if you keep this up, it gets really fun. But right now, your height is working against you. But I promise, you stick this out for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's the best thing.
I'm sure for you, man, probably one of my favorite parts of the sport is been teaching my kid.
Yep.
Like I don't know what it is. Like you turn around, they're behind you, and you know they're smiling in that little helmet, and they make their little pow turn, and it's like not aggressive, but you can just tell they're just stoked.
My daughter last year, like getting the pow turns figured out, but she did a big one and it turned right around.
Yeah.
It tipped over and I couldn't see her. I stood up and then I just see her stand up and she claimed it. Like she's so pumped.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. And it's cool. My kids go and my dad's always there. So it's 3 generations and my wife goes a lot. So it's like, it really is a family.
That's super cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. To be able to share my passion with my kids, that's the favorite part for me.
Yeah. I mean, when did you get your kids a snowmobile? Was their first one?
I had a 120 when they were actually, they started on the same kitty cat I did. I still have it.
Oh, you still have it?
So I would tie a tie down to the ski and then run in front of them and steer it for them.
Got your cardio in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I had a 120 and there wasn't a rock or a tree in my front yard that they didn't run into. I got it, it was pristine. And when I gave it back to the guy I bought it from because his kid was having kids.
So you kind of pass it down kind of deal.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad though, because I got it was pristine and he got it back. It didn't have a windshield anymore and the front bumper was broken. And my little boy would ride it so much that the chain would stretch and just fall off. And I got tired of it. If the chain fell off, I just put a new one on it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so fun. And now they race 200s, so I have those. But I try to I used to take them to the mountains, and they did pretty good on the trail. But I'm like, let's not wear out the race sleds. Let's take some mountain sleds up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. How often do you go out with them?
Well, I work 7 on 7 off, so when I'm off, we ride Saturday, Sunday.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then
And what do you do for a living, Steve?
I'm a gas plant operator for a company called Hillcorp.
Yeah.
It's okay, but
How long have you worked there?
at this facility 10 years. I started in 2009 with Chevron Rock Springs.
And you told me earlier you work 7 on, 7 off.
Yeah, work 7 days. I get 7 off, and then I work 7 nights. Get 7 off.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So literally you get half the year off.
Yeah.
I mean,
So when I'm days off, I ride 7 days a week, and then if it snows and I'm on nights, I get off work and I go ride for a few hours.
yeah. Similar situation. I frame houses from April till Thanksgiving-ish. So same
That's
thing.
the best.
Just work a lot and lots of Saturdays, lots of long days, but to have winter off, even like if I move forward in life and I'm not part of Sea-Doo, I'm still going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have winter off. Like,
Yeah.
you just won't see the post. Sorry. I'll still be out there every
Yeah.
day.
I know where to find you now.
Yeah, exactly. You know where to find me at
Area 51.
Area 51.
Yeah.
Yeah, just south of Breckenridge. It's great. How, let me ask you this, social media, like it's a big part of like being part of BRP. You have to do it for a living. And you probably get asked a lot, like where you're riding and you get a lot of like questions like that, like messages like where am I at?
Yeah, for sure.
And what's your feeling on that? Like,
Well, I don't like to blow up someone else's spot, because I don't own those mountains, and then there are a lot of local people.
well, none of us own them, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll let you know the general area where I'm at, but I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am.
Like, do you say Wyoming?
Yeah.
So I say Colorado. And
Yeah.
for anyone that's listening this far along, it's like if you're a fisherman, my grandfather was a fisherman, like grew up in the Great Lakes. You never tell anyone like where you're getting the big lunkers, you're getting the big fish. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's that's snowmobile wide though. That's not just us.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But like it's probably one of the most common asked questions on social media for me.
Like where are you guys?
Where at? How do I get there? Are you available? Or like you just name it. Like can you tell me how to get to the parking lot? It's like there's so many resources out there, you guys, from like I use Google Earth, I know you do.
Yep.
There's actually a bunch of great sites. What is it called? Rocky Mountain Sled Conditions.
Yeah.
They have every riding area, I think, in the US on their maps. Like, and they even tell you the snow depth. So
I've never done this for sledding, but for mountain biking, like in the fall, it snows at high elevation, obviously.
Yeah.
But I've searched hashtags until I found the same, like the day before, and looked at photos. Okay, it looks good to go.
No way.
Yeah, so I'm not the one asking on the internet.
Yes.
That's a new one, man. I haven't heard that yet.
Yeah, detective, you know?
Detective Martin. I like it. So yeah, how do you feel? There's a question for you. How the sport's going, like the future of it. Do you feel like it's on a good path? Like, do you feel like there's a lot of new people getting into it? Do you?
Yeah, and I think I hope the perception is it's really expensive because of course it is if you're buying the premium model. But I like to put it this way, like 10 years ago, I'd get an E-Tech and I would buy an SP. Well, let's even
Me
say,
too.
yeah,
Same.
yeah,
That's what I
I'd
bought.
get a 2018 and then I put a $7,500 turbo on it. I put $4,000 shocks on it. I added it up one year and I was like, I had
Like 20 grand.
yeah, like literally a $28,000 snowmobile.
Well, let's speak to that though. Like, I don't want to sound like rude or anything like that and disregard anyone's riding abilities, but like most of us, like for an average day, even you and I,
We could have rode
like today, we would have had a blast on NAs.
Yep.
All day.
100%. And there are days where I really like the super deep days where you're using all the power it can give us.
For sure.
For a lot of times, like a 165 Edge would be like the best all around snowmobile. It feels lighter. There and like honestly, the first time I rode a Gen 5, this is gonna make me sound dumb, but we just kind of we all just pick one because we're doing the media launch, and I jumped on one and I was like ripped up this hill, and I'm like, man, they made these things quiet. And I rode it for a while, and I was like, why is this thing so? Oh, it's not a turbo.
Yeah.
And it was performing that well. I think people are really sleeping on the NA. And right now you can get, like, this is sounding like we're a sales pitch, but you really can get an NA Edge for the same price I was paying for a 2018.
Yeah. No sales pitch intended. I think it needs to be said because it's a big, back to the social media thing. People are always like, oh, these sleds are so expensive. They're 22 grand. I'm like, they're not.
Yeah, but people say trucks are $120,000. It is if you buy an F450 dually platinum.
Yeah.
But you can go buy a $40,000 tradesman with a gas engine in it if you're not towing a fifth wheel camper or something.
Yeah, I know.
So there is an affordable entry to it, and so the same guy that's buying that $13,000 Edge right now, in 2 years he's going to sell it and going to be comfortable with taking a $3,000 loss or something. I've seen my friends like trying to get back into snowmobiling. I'm really trying to push him, like, just get a new one with warranty, and then you never have to work on it. But he's like leaning towards a used one, but like looks like he's going in the right direction. He's like showing me 21, 22 experts that have 1,500 miles on them for like $7,500. Like the deals are out there.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good used sled market right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're a diehard guy, there are, and you're riding deep technical terrain and you're putting a lot of miles on the year, and you can justify the cost of like a pre-built mod sled that has warranty, that the bolts don't fall out. And I'm not trying to throw shade at the aftermarket companies, because this is like, they're part of the reason that drove the market to like a turbo need. They did a great job.
Absolutely.
Ski-Doo knocked it out of the park.
I mean, I won't mention brands, names, any dates, but yeah, aftermarket turbo days, they're fun. It was cool to have that sled at the day, but man, if the humidity changed, if it was cloudy, if the snow was deep or it wasn't deep, like there was a lot of tuning involved.
Yeah, and then I had to put race gas in it, or
Yeah.
gas. I was putting half gas. That was easier than race
Which is a
gas.
super pain in the butt.
It is, yeah. Even if you put costs aside, that's another cost to add. But
Yeah.
it was like you had to go to a little tiny airport and fill up
Enough
jugs
fuel,
and jugs and
yeah,
jugs.
jugs of it.
And if I went, like, say I came here with
Oh.
a Mark turbo, I would bring a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah, that very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to do that back in the day. I loved having a mod sled, but I don't miss it. I love the plug and play.
Yeah.
Like
I want them every day, because I'm, you're like me, and like I go to work for 7 days. On my 7 days off, I just want to go pull on the rope and go ride it.
Yeah.
And I tell people now, if you don't take the bolts out, they don't fall out.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you take them out, though, you're done.
Yeah, that's on you at that point.
Then it's on you.
Yeah,
for sure. That's a very true statement.
Yeah.
What is your favorite, like, who's your favorite person to watch in social media and snowmobiling these days?
Man, there's a bunch that I really, Andreas, of course.
Andreas is pretty, yeah.
You know, and post great content. You're a fun follow because you're posting literally every day. So it's like you're really seeing your life.
Well, thanks.
Dave Nerona.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Yeah, because he's really shows how much fun snowmobiling is. He does a good job of that.
And on a side note, that guy just lives a super fun life.
Yeah.
Like I follow him in the summer, and that's when I'm working framing houses, and I want to just like jump through the phone and like strangle him because he's like on a boat in some port. He's on his foil board, cruising around. He's usually got like a beer in his hand or something.
5 in the morning, he's on his mountain bike. 6 at night, he's on his boat.
Yeah, like Nerona, you live the life.
He has it figured out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite person?
Man.
Not me.
Well, you've always been one of my favorites to watch, but like Andreas is really cool. This is just I love seeing adventure stuff. Back to that, like I love Nadine's video where she went to Alaska.
Yeah.
And did like the whole sleeping out in the wild and snowboarding, and like I love those type of content. I think that's really cool. There's so many good riders now, right? Like I couldn't really name a favorite. They're literally they're all amazing. Like it blows my mind how much snowmobiling has progressed and at the level it's at now. So I couldn't pick like a favorite style or person, but I could like content wise, I love seeing the adventure side of things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, like Tony and Nadine went to Japan. That was cool.
That was a cool video. Tony's always interesting. He's fun to travel with too.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and he's like you're gonna eat really well if you go with Tony.
You're gonna have a good time if you just go with Tony.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of cool stuff with him over the years, and I love him to the moon. You're always gonna have a good time. Some of my favorite trip, man, were like going to Coosters like 10 years ago, like going there for the first time. I was mind blown because like you and I have similar snowpack. Okay, so like we have snowpack that's pretty dangerous. Like we have to be really, and not that they don't up there, but like our snowpack's pretty fickle compared to theirs.
Yep.
And I'll never forget, we were up there with Cooster, a few other people, and he was like cutting this cornice on this like just massive chute. It was like 3,000 vertical feet down to a river. And I just thought he was trying to set off an Abbey, like doing some snow science. I was like, Cooster, what are you doing? He's like, do you really want to jump off like 100-foot cornice into that? Or what? It wasn't 100 feet.
Yeah.
It was huge. And I was like, no. He's like, well, we're going to make it only like 25 feet. And I'm like up there, I'm like, I kind of crap my pants. I've never been to Canada. It was like straight down to this river. And he's like, yeah, we're going to go down there. I was like, heart beating. So like jump off, roll off, and I'll never forget just like ripping these like 50, 60 mile an hour downhill power turns all the way down to the river.
Crazy. And
went over to him, just hugged him. Because I never got to experience that.
Yeah.
Like our snowpack here, there's very few days we get to do stuff like that because of our avalanche. Like Colorado's one of the most dangerous places in the world for avalanches. Because of our snowpack. Yeah, it's we average, I forget, it's thousands of avalanches per year.
Wow.
It's very dangerous because of our temperature gradient. But anyway, so got to do that, blown away. And so it kind of opened my eyes a little bit back in there. I was like, whoa, you can do this. And so some of my favorite trips after that was like, I went back twice a year, every year for like a decade. Like, I want more of that.
Yeah, very cool.
Have you ridden up there much?
Just a couple times, not enough.
Well, you and I rode there this spring and it was awful. Well, it was
fun, but the snow wasn't, conditions weren't the best.
It was about as soft as this garage floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we made the best of it. It was really fun, actually.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like it'd be super fun to go there with you when it's good because it's just crazy the traction they get there. Like, you know, so many times like Carl or Ribby or Donnie, whoever's like, we're going up that or Shelly, and I'm like, there's no way this snowmobile will go up that. And all of a sudden, like halfway up it, you're like, it's actually working. It's crazy. Like their snowpack's just so much different. Like,
yeah, that's weird. It's
you know,
it's crazy how much different snow is everywhere. I've rode Whistler before, and it's a lot different than it's coastal snow. So
yeah,
it's a lot different as well.
lots of traction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably don't have traction like that in Wyoming.
No.
No, it's like kind of similar to here, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only just right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Crows flies.
And a lot of times, if you're getting storms, I am too.
Yeah, exactly. Usually you get them before me.
Yeah.
You rub it in. Like, you rode first. And so we've always had this like ongoing joke, like who's going to ride first. And some years the storms come up from the southwest and I beat you.
I know, it's such a bummer.
And then sometimes and when I see him like west east, I'm like, fucker's going to beat me. So, and I know, like I know the weather pattern enough, but and I think you beat me last year. I know you beat me this year.
I don't know. I don't think you got me last year.
I did or didn't?
I think you did. And 2 years ago, I got you too.
Yeah, it's been a fun like rivalry. It's a, like every other year kind of thing.
I take it seriously though.
Oh, he does. It's no joke. Like it's like,
I have sleds ready to go, and I watch the weather every day.
oh, talk about that. Talk about how much you geek out on weather in life.
Dude, it's every day, and it's fun. I look at the weather forecast. I look at wind speed in the mountains, temperature in the mountains, and snow depth every day. Water content in snow. I love it.
I'm the same. So I'll just say this: I use 4 different weather apps. Okay, so I start every morning. Get up at like 6. I'm an early riser. Go grab a cup of coffee. Go sit in the shop. I go start with NOAA. That's my like baseline because they're not that great at it, but it's genuinely tells you a story. Okay, so it's like it's going to be 30s and chance of snow here and there. So I start with that. I'm like, okay. Then move to Chris Tomer. He's my second, and he's overly optimistic. He always
That's my guy.
Huh?
That's my guy.
Well, he's your guy until like
he under delivered.
like this storm that's coming in. He was calling like 12 inches tonight, 2 days ago, and everyone else is calling for 4.
Oh,
So like, but sometimes he's really right. Then I go to Open Snow. My favorite is this guy Seth Weather Report.
on Open Snow.
No,
Oh.
Facebook.
Oh, really?
He's really good.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
yeah, he's been the most. They're all pretty accurate for what it is, but like I don't know. I feel like he's done a really good job. And then usually go to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center and look at their scene. It's such a habitual site. Like it's out of control.
Yeah.
Like
All
also
letters do that. I noticed.
40 minutes are just gone in your life. And like, especially what's funny is like, we all know it's been high pressure, but we're looking at it every day. Yeah.
I know, right?
Just wait 10 days.
Yeah, exactly. Why do I keep doing this to myself?
Yeah.
every day?
Just, and then you like go into the kitchen and pout to your wife and
Yeah, my wife told her friends the other day, you got to think about Steve's not doing okay. There's high pressure in the area.
yeah. Me and my construction guys, like all my guys that work with me are sledders. And this guy Luna that worked with me for a long time would get so upset when a high pressure system would come through. He was convinced we could like stack up all this OSB like sheeting, like build like this huge wall to block it out. It's like been a joke ever since. Like we're gonna build a high pressure blocker.
High pressure blocker.
We still laugh about it. That was like 15 years ago, but yeah,
That's awesome.
weather's weather. If we could control it, it would be a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
We would have no food.
It
Schools would be closed all year.
It'd be a light snow 24/7 with a couple heavy in there.
Ooh, that's how you play it, eh?
Yeah.
Like just like not an inch an hour, like maybe like quarter, half inch hour.
Just a nice,
Ooh, I
steady, like those straight down snows with no wind.
No wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe at night, like midnight kicks in, throws down like 8,
Yeah, exactly. Nonstop.
like back up to, oh, I like this. I'll
Yeah.
cheers to that.
Cheers.
That's like the best weather forecast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sun from noon to 4.
Sure. If that's
So you
what
get
it
your good
takes.
light and then it turns right back on.
I'll trade sun for snow though.
Would you?
Yeah. I like riding when it's like nuking.
I like riding when it's nuking. I hate riding when it's not and it's super flat light, low light.
Yeah.
It's probably my least favorite riding condition.
Really.
Yeah. I just
As long as the snow's good, I'm good.
if the snow's good, I can deal with it. But like if we're dreaming here, right? We're controlling the weather.
Okay.
Okay. Like yeah, I can deal with it. But like if in a perfect world, it would dump a bunch and be sunny every day.
Yeah.
In Iowa.
Yeah.
But I think my least favorite riding is like not snowing, really flat light, like foggy, low vis. That's just me.
I see what you're saying.
There's days where it's good here and it's like, flat light.
It bums me out when you get those high pressure systems in the middle of winter, and it gets warm during the day, freezes solid at night, especially low country. Like I have to unload at 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
I have to ride 8,000 feet for a while, and then scratchers are out in the trees. But then once I can find above 10,000 north facing, I can find soft snow, and that's when I kind of bummed out on it. But I just do it anyway. I always find something.
Do you like spring snow?
Yeah, I love it. Do you?
No,
No.
I don't.
Really?
No.
No, that's why I go into adventure mode.
I like that part of it. My favorite type of riding is tree riding, and I mean I don't mind spring tree riding. It's slushy and soft, but I think once it gets icy, there's definitely like a threshold where like
for sure.
where it's soft enough and you can get an edge in. Yeah, spring riding is a blast. I don't like that icy, sketchy, like unpredictable snow. It's never been my thing. But you like it. You're more of a jumper. Well, way more of a jumper than I am, obviously. But it's good for that, and it's good for exploring. I don't know.
So you can go cover a ton of ground. And there's a zone, this huge zone. Like I can call it zones, like hundreds of
Many of
acres.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we can't access just because of fuel in the winter.
No.
You can, if you make it there, you got to turn right back.
Right.
But in the spring, you can idle in there on less fuel and then explore this. And it's like a different country. It's really steep, huge cliffs, and I can't get there in the winter.
Dude, I agree with you. I do love that.
Yeah.
Springtime exploring is awesome.
And then once you get above 10,000 feet, even like
yeah,
by
it's
afternoon,
softer.
it's soft.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm just talking about like the icy spring riding.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
There's anything for me. I'm gonna have it.
I muscle through it.
Man, good for you.
Yeah.
You might not have heard the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I used to. What else? Like, what else is snowmobiling, Steve? Like, why are we here again?
Or here right now,
Yeah.
because the snow sucks where I am. So you've been posting all these videos all like the last month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, man.
Yeah.
It's really
Thank
fun
you
to
for having me, man. It's good to be back on the sled and off the trail.
It was fun to pull that line. In particular, like when we went down that road near Dale Pass and Breckenridge, and
There was we have it on Insta 360, but it looks kind of flat, but it was really steep, and there was logs every 5 feet.
Every 5 feet.
And it was fun because I was like following you, and I would have to like pivot, turn over the logs.
Oh yeah.
It was so much fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah, that was like, all summer long you forget. Now you don't forget how fun it is, but then you get back to doing exactly that. Then you're like, this is what I've been missing.
So like, yeah, I've ridden quite a bit, but I've only had, I think I told you on the hill today, I probably had like, out of the 15, 16 days I've ridden, I've had like 5 or 6 fun pulls like that. Like where I'm like, yes, this is why I snowmobile. And a lot of it's been like, road riding, which on a deep highway is super fun.
Yeah.
And some meadows, which after like 30 minutes of them over it, that's what was special about today. And I've had a few before you came, but like, agreed, like that's what we've been waiting for. And it's really hard. Like I'm probably the most impatient person out there. Like when it comes to snowmobiling, like you, I want to go do that all day, every day.
Yeah.
And like, we could have done that more today, but I guarantee you, one of us was gonna destroy a snowmobile.
We pushed our luck a lot.
Yeah, like it's a fine line, right? Like you go do it for a few hours, like I'm done, I'm out. I'm good. I've done it.
Yeah. You're gonna run out of luck eventually.
Yeah. So, and that's what's cool about getting older as a sledder is like you just learn those lessons. Like, okay, did it, cool, it's fun. Yeah. And we say that we're gonna go do it all day tomorrow.
Exactly.
So, whatever. Throw that one out there, but yeah, it's been cool. I know it's only day one. It's been awesome to have you, and always enjoyed your company and riding with you. I think riding in Canada was fun because it was so sketchy, and we've ridden together before that, but like that one, I think we connected even more when we went down like this crazy illusion death we called it. But where I had my sled in full reverse and someone in front of me, like. Man,
Yeah,
a prototype today.
The trees are coming at a rapid pace.
Yeah, it was bad, but yeah, it's always been fun, dude, and it's fun to chat I can't really think of anything else I have to say tonight.
Yeah, let's go do it again tomorrow. I think we end it there.
Right on. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me. Thanks for watching. Hope you made it this long.